Well, ho, 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 dear listeners, and welcome to a very special episode of the Reforming Nerdom podcast, where we, your nerds, are talking about Christmas, all things Christmas. And I am joined, as always, by P. Nate, a.k.a. Pastor Nate, a.k.a. NP Wright.
Great to be on the show. I'm sporting my Christmas sweater, my Christmas mug, and I'm ready to talk all things Christmas.
You know what? Well, before I explain why I'm not wearing a Christmas sweater, we're also joined by Ben of the Cloth, a.k.a. Benjamin Ben Emery. How are you, Ben?
Wonderful.
I see.
Wonderful.
You both have your Christmas sweaters, and it's
homemade Christmas sweater, even.
Okay, so it's disappointing for me because I used to have probably the best Christmas sweater, and I don't have it anymore, and it's really disappointing because what it was I had a sweater, an ugly sweater that I cut a hole in, and I built and attached a chimney to it, and I had an iPad with a fireplace running on it, and then I had an actual working fireplace on my Christmas sweater. So I won many ugly Christmas sweater contests with that, and as it often goes with kids,
I thought you were just going to say, and I just cut a hole in it.
No,
you were just
so you can see
and my
my
kids trashed the
abs.
iPad, so the iPad died.
So you could see Jordan's 4 chest hairs.
Yeah, that might be more than that might be a little bit generous of you, Ben. Yeah, yeah. Well, anyways, again, we are the Reforming Nerdom podcast, where we get together each and every week to discuss all things nerd culture from an unapologetically Christian worldview. You can watch us on YouTube, podcast networks, and join us if you are feeling particularly festive and generous this season over at Patreon, where you can sign up and get exclusive shows, ad-free episodes, and other cool stuff. So before we get into our Christmas episode, I just want to quickly bring up a couple articles that are particularly relevant for us in things we discussed in recent episodes. And one of them has to do with the Netflix movies, TV show. Is it being positioned as a movie or movies, or are they a TV show?
I've heard movie. Like I've specifically heard the Greta Gerwig movies.
Okay,
movie
so
adaptations. Yeah.
As is often the case, the day after we recorded, this dropped, and
Ahead
so
of
this was
to the curb as always.
Yeah. Yep. That's how we do things here. But this was an article from Games Radar, and it was saying how in this article, Greta Gerwig will soon be taking us through the wardrobe in a new adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia, and producer Amy Pascal has confirmed when the movie will shoot. In the conversation with Deadline, the producer revealed that the movies will film in July 2025, and she also gave away an intriguing tease. Quote, "It's a very new take on Narnia."
Ugh,
quote, she revealed.
Surprise.
Wait. I don't know if we predicted this one. It's all about rock and roll.
Yeah. That was off my radar. Yeah, I didn't have rock and roll as like the adjective.
How to Ruin Narnia bingo card didn't have that one, but
Yeah.
No. So
another rumor I did see, Jordan, I don't know if it's in that article that you read, but that it looks like it is going to be Magician's Nephew first, which we also talked about not being the ideal place to start. Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay. Well, and then the author just continues. Now, exactly what that means isn't clear just yet. Shocker. But with Gerwig expertly putting her own spin on her adaptations of Little Women and Barbie, we can definitely expect something special when the movie arrives on Netflix. Quote from Gerwig, "I don't know." She previously told us of her Narnia movie. "I haven't really started wrapping my arms around it, but I'm properly scared of it, which makes me which feels like a good place to start. I think when I'm scared, it's always a good sign. Maybe when I stop being scared, it'll be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that one. No, I'm not terrified of it. It's extraordinary. And so we'll see. I don't know."
Oh, man.
End quote. End of article.
The
faith
confidence
in these movies has just
from...
plummeted. This is just like first off, it's like, yeah, the Barbie director is enough reason to give us pause, but then she's just kind of like YOLOing it. Like, one of the
Yeah.
most famous franchises ever, one of the most beloved the characters, the world, and it's just like, YOLO, we'll figure it out. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy. All right. So I think yeah, we were definitely onto something there. So I mean, we have every reason to be cautious, but who knows? Maybe rock and roll Netflix or Narnia will be cooler than we ever could have imagined. Who knows? And then the other thing I wanted to bring up real quick, and Ben, this one's for you.
Oh,
The Indiana Jones video game that just came out, produced by
is it the
Bethesda.
the Great Circle? Is that the name
Yes,
of it? Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That's right. And as of right now, as of recording, it has a Metacritic score of 87, which
Oh,
is
it's
actually
pretty good.
very good
It's very good.
compared to some of the other big games that came out this year. Actually, last night at the Game Awards, Astrobot, they won Game of the Year, and that was a
Which
94.
which you were really high on.
I loved Astrobot. Excellent game. Yeah. Balatro, which is kind of like a card game roguelike deck building kind of thing. It was a 90 that won a lot of awards last night as well. And then even Black Myth Wukong, which was also popular, was only an 81. And then Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops, 83, Helldivers 2 and 82. So it actually it's performing really well.
Huh.
And I'm actually playing it. I haven't played a ton. I've maybe played about an hour of it.
Is it new gen only?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I could actually give you, so I have just for playing this, because I don't typically buy games when they first come out unless it's like really good, and I'm confident. For this one I just got Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. And
Oh
so
yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do that, and then it's like $20, and then you can just actually stream it from your computer using xCloud or like the Xbox Cloud
I
Gaming.
don't know. I don't know if my computer could even handle it though.
No, it's not your computer, it's your internet. If you have decent internet, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Sure.
if you wanted to try it out, it's like $20 and you could have a go at it. You just
Cool.
connect your PS4 controller to your computer, or you can do it on your phone as well. Cloud gaming is actually very impressive these days. I've done quite a bit of testing
Interesting.
with that.
Yeah, I
As
might give
long
that
as
a
your
shot.
internet's decent. Yeah, you just need decent internet, upload, download, and it works really well. So, anyways, if anyone else was interested about in that game and curious, it's really good. Good story. The actor, Troy Baker, he's probably the biggest voice actor in video games. He's excellent. He was Joel in The Last of Us. He was Nathan Drake. So nope,
Oh,
not Nathan Drake. Sorry, that was a different guy. Cole in the infamous games. Anyways, he's been big actor.
so
He
what's
does
the
the most incredible voice and acting, a representation of Harrison Ford. It's unbelievable. And I think anybody who's interested in Indiana Jones it would serve you well to go and actually watch it, because it's that good. Like you actually feel
interesting?
like it's Harrison Ford.
So like what kind of like style of game is it? If
It
you like, I don't know if that
it
makes sense even as a
yeah,
question.
it's a first person, like very story based, but from what I understand, I haven't gotten there yet. It's like kind of quasi open world ish. So it's like type of game where they put you in an environment that's fairly open, like you're still contained.
So there's like a main storyline,
Yes.
but you can kind of
But
wander.
within their confined spaces that they put you in for a particular level, like to progress the story, like you have some flexibility, I guess, in exploring, and you can do it
Right.
one way versus another way. But it's still first person, which I'm almost always more a third person
Oh yeah.
fan. Yeah, I almost always prefer that versus the first person view. I find like when you're doing hand to hand combat in first person, it just looks weird. Like
Yeah,
it's never really great.
that's fair.
So
I
we'll
I
see.
always did feel like the Sky, like the Morrowind or Skyrim or
Yeah,
like
it,
those
it, it
games
would
were.
feel like that. For those who are
Yeah.
familiar with with the Skyrim games or with Fallout, it's the same company that
Yeah.
made that. And like
Yeah, it's
Starfield,
Bethesda, right? Yeah.
yeah, Starfield, which just came out last year, was a Bethesda game. So, but yeah, if people are we're waiting to find out what we thought, as I'm sure many are, I would say give it a go. It's worth it. And if you don't have a console, you can get Xbox Game Pass for a month, pay $20, and you play the game. Pretty cheap.
Sweet.
So good,
So we're
good
gonna
option
get
there.
Xbox Game Pass as a sponsor for the show or what?
One day, and one day we'll
We'll get
get free
there.
codes, and yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll well, actually we probably won't get free codes because we'll say bad things about woke games, so they probably won't give us free
That's
codes,
true.
but
The
But
tides are turning.
by the time
that's
Xbox
right.
would sponsor us, I feel like there won't be that many woke games left.
I agree.
Bold
Yeah.
prediction, and I'm
Well,
here for it.
Yeah.
well, even just really quickly, because again, like I watched the Game Awards last night. I do it every year, and it's like the big announcement was actually there was a ton of big announcements for anybody who's into more like there were a bunch of dormant franchises that they haven't released games in quite a while. Like Virtua Fighter was a game that
Came
hasn't
back
been
from the
around in a
dead.
while.
Virtual Fighter.
But
Oh, I love
yeah,
that
Virtua
game.
Fighter. But the big one was Naughty Dog, the developer behind Last of Us, Uncharted, you know, old school game, Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter. They unveiled their new game, and they just have not learned their lesson when it comes to wokeism stuff. And it's just like so unfortunate because this new game they have coming out, and I am forgetting what it's called, but it's like it has like a really neat aesthetic where it's like future in space, but it has like a retro vibe to it. So like picture like a Betamax kind of aesthetic or
Yeah, yeah.
V8 or a cassette tape kind of thing. And it looks really cool, but of course, like the main character is what looked a girl is shaving her head in the video, and you know, muscle shirt,
Yeah.
and looks like they're clearly like she's obvious. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say obviously because there might be a reason in the story for her shaving her head, but they're portraying her as like a butch lesbian.
Just like
Um,
androgynous,
yeah, and who's like a
nothing
bounty
in
hunter going to hunt
particular.
this
Yeah.
guy, and it's like it's just they can't stop, and so they didn't learn with Last of Us, which people were upset because it became so girl bossy that it was insufferable, and here they are again now investing what's been the last like 5 years. And so what's interesting is we might be seeing again, this game's been in development since 2020, which that's quite a while, and the game's still probably not coming out for another 3 or 4, maybe like 3 years for a
Holy
game of this
smokes.
scope. So it's like these games have huge development cycles, and this game
Right.
was developed
So
when
it
Biden
might
would have
take a
been
while, right, for
right. And
these
that's the
things to,
thing. Like
yeah.
we're now seeing because these long development cycles, like we're talking about games that cost like $300 to $500 million to
Yeah.
make.
To like 180 in the middle
Yeah,
of
no, you
that.
can't. You
Right.
can't.
Like that
So
investment is too deep.
that's
Yeah.
right. And so it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, aesthetically, visually, the game looked probably the best looking video game I've ever seen. And it said it was using like in-game assets. So it's pretty stunning what they're doing. It's just, of course, they're potentially ruining it. We'll see. We'll see once it gets closer. But anyways, that was it was just Game Awards were fun. I always enjoy watching it. It's kind of my annual nerd thing that my wife makes fun of me for doing, but I literally watch it every year and I don't care. Come at me. It's fun.
Come at me, bro.
So on that note, why don't we pivot to our more Christmassy theme? And before we I think one of the things that we want to do today is talk a little bit about some of our current traditions that we do with our current, like with our families, but then some of our memories that we have, some of our fond memories of Christmas, maybe even specifically nerdy memories when we were growing up. But before we do that, I have a couple nerdy Christmas facts here. And maybe you guys know of this. Some of this I was already familiar with, but I'd be curious if you guys knew this. Or do you guys know the origins of Santa's red suit, how that came about?
I don't know. I saw the old Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie.
Okay.
So
It was Coke in the 1930s that gave us our current picture of Santa as a jolly
red
red
suited.
white beard. That was Coke that gave us that picture. And the reason I knew that, my grandma gave me this really old napkin that she had for years. And it was, Santa. And she had told me that years ago, probably like 15, 20 years ago. So I knew that. But then when I was going through and thinking of these, or trying to find some interesting facts, that came up. So yeah, it was in the 1930s.
Nice.
And in early depictions, it was showing him in green, brown, or even blue. So
Coke is also the reason that I think polar bears crack open a cold one
That
every
agreed.
Christmas. Also,
yeah.
It,
You know what?
it's interesting. I should have known that because I remember reading something one time that talked about how up until Coca-Cola started using Christmas ads with Santa and the whole polar bear thing, like you're talking about, that was what really internationalized Santa Claus, because obviously Father Christmas has traditions in all kinds of different places. They call him different things in different areas. But Santa Claus, as a sort of North American take on it, really got internationalized because of Coke. So I didn't know that. I should have put two and two together. I would have assumed that the red outfit predated that, but here we are.
Yep.
Coca-Cola.
Another interesting fact is the first electric Christmas lights were created by Edward H. Johnson, an associate of Thomas Edison, in 1882. And these were created because people were putting candles on their Christmas trees.
That I do remember here. I mean, I didn't remember like the date and the name and everything, but I do remember hearing that fact of like people just burning their houses down by putting candles in like dry, Christmas trees that are literally just little tinder boxes. But yeah, that's a good one.
So people, maintain that. Don't put.
Do not recommend.
Do not put candles in your Christmas
real
tree.
candles in the Christmas tree.
Yeah, we recommend going back to old traditions, but not that one.
Yeah, not that one. Another fun fact: Jingle Bells was the first song played in space. In 1965, astronauts of NASA's Gemini 6 mission pranked mission control by pretending to spot
allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Then they pulled out a harmonica and sleigh bells to perform Jingle Bells. So it is recorded that Jingle Bells allegedly was the first song played in space.
Nice.
And then not lastly, we got one more after that. But in the DC universe, Santa Claus is canon. He is considered one of the most powerful beings and has even teamed up with Superman to save Christmas.
That's
and Marvel
awesome.
has their version too. Santa once wielded the Infinity Gauntlet to spread holiday cheer.
That's amazing. That one I didn't know. I remember a Christmas episode where Santa and Superman team up. I actually remember that, but the Infinity Gauntlet, that's news to me. It's
I don't know, and
that's based
an animated Santa versus Thanos.
I want to find out which edition that was, because I actually don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool. And so now a little bit of trivia for you. What is the highest grossing Christmas film of all time?
That good one. Okay. Let me think. Can you give me like I don't know. Can you give me like an era? Is it?
I will say that there's a bit of a difference between the monetary amount and then adjusted for inflation.
Okay, so it's
there's kind of two answers.
Yeah.
One is the highest monetarily, but if you based on dollar amount at the time, but if you adjusted for inflation,
It's a Wonderful Life.
See, I'm gonna go with Home Alone.
As of December 2024, the highest grossing Christmas film is Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, the 2018 with Benedict Cumberbatch, $514 million. However, when adjusting for inflation, Home Alone surpasses The Grinch in box office earnings.
Does that redeem me for the lightsaber incident?
No. Come on. Not even close.
No, not yet. Well, maybe one day. Maybe one day. Jury's still out. So anyways, that I was trying to, because I saw that answer before I was able to even think about it, and I wish I'd thought about it a little bit. But yeah, Home Alone, I mean...
Yeah, Home Alone makes perfect sense.
I was surprised by The Grinch.
That one like blows me away, because I remember when that came out thinking, like, I just didn't even really know that it just kind of like appeared. Like, I don't remember a ton of like massive lead up or
I don't either
promo for it or anything.
But like,
and it's actually fantastic though. Like when I first heard that they were doing a full length animated of The Grinch, I was like, well, why? You got the Jim Carrey one, you have the original. Like, don't ruin it, right? Like, kind of like what we're saying with so many other things. Don't ruin it. And they actually did a fantastic job. I think that's actually my favorite rendition of The Grinch.
I would agree. Yeah. So because, I mean, it sounds crazy, but like, so it did 514 million worldwide, which isn't like Marvel $1 billion territory. So I think like even sometimes that's kind of what skews So like
Yeah.
$514 million is still like an excellent
Small
haul.
potatoes. But what did it cost to make that thing
Yeah, I
versus
don't.
a Marvel movie?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Well, and can you guys think of in the last couple years a really good Christmas movie that came out?
nope.
Because that red one that just came out this year absolutely has bombed. The one with The
Oh yeah.
Rock and Chris Evans did nothing.
A year or two ago, the Spirited came out
Okay.
with what's his name? Uh, Ryan Reynolds and
Yeah,
somebody
with
else,
Will Ferrell as well.
and Will
Yeah.
Ferrell. Yeah, that's who it was. And I mean, it was fun. Like it was fine. It was fun. But
Netflix,
like the
the
last like
Christmas
iconic
Chronicles.
Christmas movie to come out, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to start going back through the years, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the Netflix one, Christmas Chronicles, isn't bad. That only came out a few years ago, but that was like
Yeah,
with
it's
Kurt Russell?
fine.
It's okay.
But again, like no one's putting that in their list of like top 10 favorite Christmas movie. Like I'm just like I'm trying to think of
Ah,
what's the last time a truly like iconic Christmas movie
you know
was
what?
released.
I can't believe we'll get to it because
Okay.
there is actually one.
It's on one of your lists.
It is actually, and now as I think about it, it is on as one of my favorite Christmas movies once we get to that. So,
All right,
but
perfect.
yeah, we'll get to our
Stay
favorite.
tuned.
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll get to our favorite Christmas movies. But before we even do that, what for you guys? I'm curious. When does Christmas start in your house?
Right after Remembrance Day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
November 12th generally.
we don't have like a specific day, but it's early November. Sometimes it's November 1, sometimes it's later than that,
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
busy. We've got kids. If
Yeah.
November 1 rolls around and we don't feel like putting up the Christmas tree, it doesn't go up.
Do you guys get a real tree or a fake one?
We haven't gotten a real tree in a dozen years, probably. Yeah.
Nate, what about you guys?
Yeah, we do a fake tree as well, just because of how long we have it up. We've done the real tree, and we put the real tree up. I want to say like, November 20 something, and it was just looking pretty shoddy by the time Christmas rolled around.
One of those trees you don't put a candle in at that
100%.
point.
So yeah, we generally we use a fake tree. We generally wait for whatever the first Saturday is after Remembrance Day. Is like the Saturday that we put it up, and we do like Cinnabons and eggnog. Well, I'm the only one who likes eggnog, unfortunately, but hot chocolate, Christmas tunes, decorate the tree, and like Christmasify the house.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then things
Ben,
slowly, like the mugs come out a week later, and
Yeah.
the whatever the greenery that Colleen puts around the banisters and stuff that comes out, a little bit later. So things get added throughout, but certainly November is getting Christmased, and by the time December 1st rolls around, the house is in full swing.
Ben, what's your take
this
on
year is
eggnog?
probably our least Christmassy the house has been. Well, first of all, like we moved this year, so we're in a new house, trying to figure out where to put everything, like all the old decorations and stuff. Where do they fit? We also have a 1-year-old who's an absolute terror for anything that he can reach. So like literally our tree is decorated like the top 2/3 only.
That's hilarious.
So it's been a different Christmas decorating year for sure.
What's your take on eggnog, Ben?
Oh, I'm 100% in favor of eggnog, all kinds.
Okay. I want to be.
Regular,
It feels like one of those things that
more
you should
adult
want.
version, all good. Yeah.
Okay, because I've never liked it. No one in our house likes it.
Do you drink milk? Like, are you a milk person?
Yeah, I am. It's
Okay.
just it's like eggy milk, which to me seems weird, but I want to be. It's a Christmas thing, and I love Christmas, and it's like I need to embrace it, and I want to do it with. Was it like mix it with rum? Is that also what
Typically, yeah.
grown-ups do? Yeah.
So I will make you, at some point this Christmas season, both of you, I will make you a very good Christmas eggnog cocktail. And I don't use store-bought eggnog. Use actual yolks, the whole thing. You will love it. Guaranteed.
Okay.
Jeepers.
You know what? Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I just need to actually make my own eggnog, and maybe that will...
Will it be a triple like the last time you made me An old fashioned.
So last time, this is a story for you, Jordan. Last time Ben came over to my house, I was like, "Oh, do you want me to make you an old fashioned?" As one does. You've experienced my old fashions, and so I make an old fashioned and mix it all up and put out the
We're
two drinks,
chatting.
and then and we're chatting and it's like slow going, right? And then so I start pouring it out and it's like pour it out, pour it out. Oh, there's a little bit left. Pour out, pour out. A little bit left. Pour. The time it's done, the glass is completely full, and I guarantee I gave Ben like a triple. So,
Yeah.
I was generous.
But was it good, Ben?
For anyone wondering, I did not finish it because I had to drive home not that long after.
Yeah, that is true.
FYI.
That is true.
That's just
but
being
was it
responsible.
good? Was it delicious?
It was wonderful.
Yeah. So for you guys, is there any are there any memories, Christmas memories that come to mind that you can reflect back on? Maybe nerdy specifically, but maybe let's start there.
My
Anything
nerdy specific stuff for Christmas always revolves around anytime we ever got a new gaming system was Christmas, right?
Yeah,
and it was there's me, like I have two brothers, so there's three boys in the family, and so that was always our like group anytime we ever got a new gaming system, it was a group gift at Christmas. So I remember we got our like regular Nintendo. I still remember that when I was just a wee lad, and I'm pretty sure there was even like a scavenger hunt involved of like going around the house to eventually end up finding that. We got our Sega Genesis as a Christmas gift. Pretty sure our N64 we pooled our money together and bought ourselves, not at Christmas. But yeah, like I remember a lot of video game presents at Christmas, and then spending the rest of Christmas Day playing a lot of video games.
Yeah, we got our 64 one year, and it was just like we got Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Zelda, Mario Party, and GoldenEye all
nice
in one go, and it was just like, all right, bye.
I know what I'm doing for Christmas break.
Yeah, like it was incredible. We just got all of it, because I think N64 came out in '96. And I'm pretty sure I remember that's when it launched, but we didn't get it because we got a PlayStation first. It was, I think, 2000, and I looked into this because we got the green N64, the Donkey Kong green translucent or transparent one, and that came out in 2000. So we got that when that came out, and it was just like, well, like I just checked out from life for a while because it was just, yeah, it was that was fun.
Yeah, see you next Christmas.
Nate, what about you?
Yeah, mine would be the same. I have a brother who's 2 years younger than me, and that was always, we would generally get whatever system came out that Christmas. We'd get the following Christmas, and so we were always kind of about a year behind the newest systems. But we would always get that, like our systems always only came at Christmas, and it was sort of the big joint gift. And yeah, so same sort of thing. I just remember Christmas day being like you open up all your gifts in the day, and then you just basically play video games. Or my brother and I were really into Magic the Gathering, and so there were times too when Christmas break would be spent a lot of like Magic the Gathering. We'd get each other cards and stuff like that for Christmas. So all that kind of stuff. But I also remember, just in terms of like I have very fond memories of, we were a pretty strict home in terms of screen time, in terms of treats and sugar and all that kind of stuff. And so I just remember Christmas vacation being the time when my parents sort of let loose. And I just remember eating so many chocolates, tummy aches, and, video game comas. And just like, I just remember those, that was the time when sort of the governor was taken off. So really fond memories with that stuff. And definitely video games being, up here in Canada, there were some Christmases where you get snowed in, and it was always great that you got that video game system. I don't know. I feel like we got a lot more, like Christmas vacation was tons and tons of snow. So I just remember going outside and playing and tobogganing and snowball fights and everything. And then you come in and you just veg in a warm house with the new video game system. And I just remember those times super fondly.
Yeah. I remember like literally grabbing a blanket and sitting in front of after coming in from outside, and like sitting in front of the vent blowing the hot air from the furnace and just playing video games for the rest of the night. Yeah. Now as an adult, right, that has shifted, especially like when we're visiting my parents or anything like that with the kids. It revolves around board games now more so than video games per se. Like we're just always around the table playing board games with grandparents and grandkids and kids and stuff. So shifted a little bit, but same idea.
Yeah. For me, they're the two. I should say the two gifts that, like, for me, I remember growing up, because I loved Lego, so I'd often get Lego. Like, video games were a huge thing, but Lego, I would almost always get a Lego set. And then one year I got, I think it was called Fort Legorado, and it was just this like cowboy compound thing, and it was like a huge set. One of those ones that if I were to go and look at it, my kids would ask for it now, I'd say absolutely not. There's no way I'm spending that much money on it. But my parents did this year, and I just I
Like
spent
this year, they got it for you this year.
no. Yeah.
It's half built in the
You
back.
wanna If you want me to be really happy and you want to bless me with something, buy me Lego. I would be thrilled. I would
Nice.
love it. I'd build it with Alice. We just got hers some for her birthday, and she didn't want me to build it with her, but I actually wanted to. But she's like, "No, Dad, I'm good." It's like, come on.
No, you're
Are you
not.
sure?
Yeah, come on. I bought this.
You don't know what you need.
Yeah, that's right. So that was always fun. But then the gift that was the best gift I think I ever got was laser tag. And it was
Oh, nice.
my brother and I each got a set. And I don't think, I'd actually be curious to ask my mom if other parents coordinated this at the same time, because it just so happened they weren't always the same set, but they still actually worked together, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
But a bunch of our friends in the neighborhood all got laser tag stuff as well. So then we would go in the back
The thing
forest.
back then, though, is like it's not like today. There probably was only like 2 options,
And that's probably
right?
yeah.
Like today, there's
Yeah.
5,000 laser tags you could find on Amazon, but
Yeah.
there's probably like 2 you could pick from back then.
Yeah. And so we just, like, as all the kids in the neighborhood, we went to the park, like the school behind our house, and it had like a little nature park area with trees and stuff. And we would go out there, and I can't calculate how many times we went out there and how long we spent. And it was just such a blast because everybody was into it. It's the type of thing that I would do to this day. If you guys told me that you went and bought your kids laser tag things, I would go on Amazon right now, buy it, and I would go out and play. Don't even care if kids are there.
So funny you say that. 2 years ago, our joint gift for all the kids was laser tag. So we have these awesome laser tag guns. Ben's actually
I've seen
them.
They're
Because
awesome. Yeah.
Ben's played with them, because we do this, Jordan. So you got to come
Yeah.
over. The three
Yes.
of us with our first patron, maybe. I don't know. We'll do a laser tag game. So these are actually, I think they're called Adventure Guy. I don't know. I'll honestly, I'll get you the link so that you can put it even in the show notes, because I swear by these things. We got them. So we were at the Mashenko's house, who are a family in our church, and they had these things, and we played with the kids in their backyard, and these things were such high quality. And he was like, I researched these. You drop them. There's nothing to put on your chest. It's just the guns themselves have some receptors on them, and they're so good. And here's the thing, guys. If you buy them for your children, your guns will link up with our guns, and we can have family battles. So they're so good. Colleen and I honestly do play sometimes at night, running up and down the street, shooting at each other. And we've done this with my sister. We've done this with my brother. We've done this with the Emerys. We've done this with several people. It's fantastic. So much fun.
All right. Cool. Well,
Sounds
So
like a
I'll
date.
make you both I'll make you both a triple old fashioned. We'll go shoot each other with lasers.
I can't think of a better way to spend a Friday night. to be
There you
honest.
go.
That sounds great. All right. Well, before we get into our topic of the show, why don't we just do a quick ad read here from our sponsor?
Have you ever opened your internet browser in search of quality Christian books, only to find yourself wading through page after page of Joel Osteen books, Nerf guns, and tacky wall art? Thousand Generations Print Company is here to save the day. With a unique, family-owned approach, quick 24-hour processing, a commitment to providing heretic-free literature, and real human customer service, they focus on offering books that not only enlighten, but align with Orthodox Christian teachings. And, being conveniently located in southern Ontario, there's no more need to sell your left kidney to pay for shipping within Canada. Visit at actuallychristianbooks.com. Again, that's actuallychristianbooks.com. And order yourself anything from Haunted Cosmos to Sir Battlelot and use promo code NERDOM, that's NERDOM, all caps, and receive 10% off your next order. Thousand Generations Print Company, books for building, books for battling, for 1,000 generations.
I'm Brent, and I'm rebuilding LEGO Star Wars to be the best display and play LEGO models. I enjoy the nostalgia of Star Wars by creating LEGO sets designed for adults but can be handed down to children. I've spent far too much time obsessed with LEGO and Star Wars, and God made me far too creative to let it all go to waste. So I created a YouTube channel, Boffman Bricks, to share what I'm building.
Well, welcome back, everybody. And we're now at the time of the show where we're going to discuss our favorite Christmas movies. And the way this is going to work is we've come up with a number of categories, because there are many types of Christmas movies. And we're going to try to rank our, or not rank, but we're just going to say which of these categories, what is our favorite movie in that category. But before we even do that, it's a bit of a philosophical question as we consider Christmas movies. And it's one that I posed to our small group, and it was an interesting conversation that spun from it. And the question is this: what makes a movie a Christmas movie?
I think there's two different questions here. What makes a movie a Christmas movie, and then what makes a movie a good Christmas movie are two different questions.
Okay. So
like, I think the general public will recognize something as a Christmas movie for different reasons than I think like what actually makes a good Christmas movie, if that makes sense.
What would make the general public, what makes it a Christmas movie?
If like it's just if it's set in winter.
Okay.
Like if it's set around Christmas time, or there's Christmas music.
Yeah,
or
I would say
like
generally
most
set
people
over the Christmas season at some point, like set within
like
the Christmas
specifically
season.
Christmas Day has to be in the movie. Yeah. And then it's a Christmas movie, which like I basically agree with that in the sense of like those are the kinds of movies we watch around Christmas time. But like I think there's something about the actual story of the movie that makes it a good Christmas movie that actually has something to do with Christmas.
So
That makes
would a
sense.
movie like the obvious being Die Hard, or even Lethal Weapon is another one set during the holiday season, or Batman Returns, would those be Christmas movies? So I would say,
Again, are they good Christmas movies, or are they Christmas movies?
so here's it. I would say Die Hard is a good Christmas movie, and it is a Christmas movie. But
I think you can make the argument for Die Hard, yeah.
Because it's set within a Christmas party, right? So the whole thing takes place during a Christmas party. There are other movies that are set at Christmas time, and Christmas becomes a side note. Now, don't get me wrong, Christmas isn't at the forefront of Die Hard, but the entirety of the movie takes place during a Christmas party. If a Christmas, so like Rocky 1 is not a Christmas movie, even though there's a part of it that takes place over Christmas, and there's a Christmas turkey, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's Christmas lights and all that kind of stuff. But it's because it's a 6-month movie. The time frame of the movie takes place over like 6 months or whatever, and Christmas is one part of it. So I think Christmas has to be like it. The story has to be set within the Christmas season in its entirety.
okay,
Yeah. And I think like, not to pull the Jesus juke and everything, I do think there does need, in order for it to be like an actual good Christmas movie and something worth consuming at Christmas, like there needs to be some element of like a redemptive story, because I think that's just like whether like almost none of the Christmas movies I watch are actually like Christian Christmas movies, like probably none actually. But the ones that actually make you feel like Christmas, right? Like the spirit of Christmas are the ones that have this story of redemption that is ultimately, again, like borrowing from the true story of Christmas, whether almost certainly not explicitly, but whether explicitly or not.
Yeah, and that was the thing we were talking about when the conversation came up, how inescapable Christ is at Christmas, not just because like you can say happy holidays, you can do, try to remove his name from all of it, but
Yeah.
baked into it, there
Yeah.
are just,
Even that. Why is it happy?
that's it.
Like,
Well,
why?
and that's it. Like, what is this whole season of celebrating? Like, even when you look at things like family or community or hope or rest, like all of those things are borrowing from the Christian worldview. It is inescapable. They might not know it, and I love it when you're in a mall or you're watching, some cheesy Hallmark movie or just even something that's super secular on TV or anything. A lot of them are Christmas carols. And a lot of them are talking about Christ and the Savior, the coming
Yeah.
Savior, the Messiah, like all these things. It's like, so
Yeah.
I love, and that's why I think it's such a shame where so many Christians, I shouldn't say so many. I know Nate maybe more is it a Pentecostal thing where they kind of, at least in my experience, knowing many Pentecostals, they've been like, oh no, we don't celebrate Christmas. I don't know. Maybe it was just the Pentecostal circles I ran with back when I was younger, but like they were like opposed to celebrating Christmas in any fashion.
That's the PAO Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that's just generally just Christians with bad theology in general. I shouldn't say that. Some people have okay theology, but they're wacky on this one point. But I mean, the Puritans didn't celebrate Christmas, and they were wrong about that. So, it is what it is. But that could be a whole other episode on its own. I think Christians should celebrate Christmas robustly.
Yeah. No, next year, maybe next year, we'll dabble into to that. All right.
There's always another Christmas.
The time has come.
Unless you live in Narnia before Aslan came.
Ooh. Well done. All right. Gentlemen, first category. The best classic Christmas movie. And by classic meaning older, timeless. What would you say is the best classic Christmas movie?
For me, I've got It's a Wonderful Life down there. That's I don't watch it as I remember growing up, we would definitely we would have it on. My parents would watch it every year. We don't watch it as much now just because we've got little kids, and then there's only so much time for Emma and I to watch stuff on our own, and that's not at the top of the list. So doesn't get watched as much as it used to, but it's still my favorite classic Christmas movie.
Okay.
So I actually did a 1 and 2 for all of them in case this happened.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was like, I would have said it's a Wonderful Life as well, because I have, I can't switch categories because I have a reason why It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, well, I'm going to go first every time then because I don't have a backup.
Okay, I got a backup for all of them. So then I will say A Christmas Story, which was my number 2. So It's a Wonderful Life was my number 1, but A Christmas Story is definitely my number 2 in terms of a classic Christmas movie, and it holds up every time.
So what do you like about A Christmas Story, Nate? What's the big draw?
I think the uniqueness of the narration throughout, of somebody kind of nostalgically looking back at a particular Christmas. So it's sort of like what we all like as adults looking at Christmas is thinking through, as we just did, nostalgia of that year that I got this thing, right? And so we can all think back to that Christmas when we got the thing that we were looking forward to and we wanted it so badly, and that sort of nostalgic look back. And so the whole narration keeps that feel throughout the entirety of the movie. And it just has like classic parts of like that I think every child can sort of relate to, getting your tongue stuck on the thing. Like maybe you didn't do it, but you knew somebody who did it, or you knew that there were rumors that so-and-so did it. And like, I don't know. I just think it's such a classic.
to the eye,
Well, totally.
I think we can all relate to this, like that Christmas where there's like that one thing you want, right? There's the Christmas where it's like like I need this thing. And so, yeah, I agree. And so for me, I put the original Christmas Carol with Alistair Sims.
Nice.
Yeah.
Partly a big reason for that is sentimentality, because like it was the movie every Christmas for years. I would watch it with my dad because he watched it with his dad. And so there's just like that sentimental thing there. But then also I think A Christmas Carol is just as classic a Christmas story
I
as you
mean,
can get.
Dickens, like before Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus, Dickens
Yeah.
invented Christmas.
Yeah, like as we understand, like
Seriously.
The way that
turkey,
we
the meal, the
understand it.
family,
Yeah.
the togetherness, like all of it. It was, and that one in particular, I really like because I think it's, in my understanding, the most accurate to the book. Because like, yes, there's the Muppet one, and yes, there's the Jim Carrey animated one, and there's Scrooged, which came out maybe a
There's
couple years
lots.
ago. There's
Yeah.
lots of them, but it's like pretty accurate to the book. And I thought Alistair Sims, even just as I was thinking about this, it's like he does a great job of being incredibly unlikable, but then when he, like the giddiness, and it just like makes you think of like of when a person is regenerate, and that excitement that comes from actually being born again, and that zeal. And
That's what Dickens was going for.
Right. And it's just like and I think Alistair Sims does a great job. He's like giddy with excitement at his like new lot in life and everything. So that would be like my number one. And so because in looking at things, I mean, I spent a lot of time on this, by the way, thinking about this, because this was challenging. But the one that came up with so many people as I was looking at things was It's a Wonderful Life. And I haven't watched that movie, man, in 25 years. Probably.
See, the funny thing, like I didn't love it. So we watched it all the time as when I was a kid. My parents would watch it, and I didn't love it. And then it's the first time I watched it after having had kids. It's like a totally different movie. Like George Bailey as a dad is the most relatable character as a dad. Like like you feel all of it, and you feel it 110%. Yeah.
So I just yesterday was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. So while I was working yesterday, I got through about, actually I just got to the part where his, like they had to close, like the threat of the bank coming in and closing on their business and everything. So I probably maybe about a third of the way through the movie. And as I was watching, I was like, this is just delightful. It really is. It's just like of a bygone era where
like the whole
time,
like the dance
neighbors,
scene with the gym floor opens.
It was fantastic. It's just
like
made you
really good movie also. Yeah.
And just like longing for the day where one day it'll kind of be that wholesomeness again. So anyways, I thought that was really cool. So good choices. All right. Next up, best animated Christmas movie.
All right, am I going first again? Is that allowed?
You can go first every time because I got my backups.
Nate doesn't kill me. So we actually already talked about this. My best animated is actually that new animated Grinch movie. That is my go-to. We watch that every year now, like multiple. Like that's maybe gets watched more than any other Christmas movie in our house, just because we have little kids who love animated movies in particular. So that's my number one animated Christmas movie.
Okay.
See, it's
Nate,
a good
was
thing
that
I have
yours?
backups because that was going to be mine as well, and partially for the same reasons. Like that's the one our kids will, when we go to sit down to watch something, that's the one they always want to they would rather just rewatch that. They love that movie.
Yeah.
So it's probably our number one rewatch. So I'm gonna go. In that case, I'm gonna go with and there's a few shout outs I'll give. So if you haven't watched The Star, it's a more recent, and it's actually the story of Jesus told through the donkey. It's actually
a Netflix one.
Sorry,
is that on Netflix? Was that
it's
a
on Netflix? It's actually very good. We watched that one a couple times. I would highly recommend it. Like it's not like it's made by a theologian or anything, but it's a very enjoyable kids movie, and it's very, very good. So The Star would be sort of a runner up. The other one that I really like, although it's obviously more of a Halloween movie, I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. I love the music in it. I love Tim Burton's animation, even though Tim Burton's a weirdo. But I would say my answer then is Charlie Brown's Christmas.
Oh, nice.
If I can't go,
that was my runner up. So
yeah,
it's
fantastic. It's obviously it's got the iconic scene.
We actually, talking about traditions, we watch that every Christmas Eve. That's
nice.
Our right before bed is Charlie Brown Christmas.
Nice. Okay. It's a
Okay.
good length for that too.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas, is that more a Christmas movie or Halloween? Because I know there's the debate over Halloween movie or Christmas
I would
movie?
categorize it as a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would too. I think we don't really celebrate much in terms of Halloween. Like we don't make our kids not go out or anything. That again, that can be a whole episode on sort of a Christmas or a Christian view of that. But that is we generally will watch that at Halloween, just to get our kids in the Christmas spirit because
We actually watch Friday the 13th with our kids. Yeah.
Good. Get them ready.
terrible parenting.
If you can get through the wounds of that, they're going to be so much stronger mentally and emotionally in life. Yeah. All right. So for me, neither of you mentioned this one, and this is the one where it's more recent, and it's become one of our favorites, and that is Klaus, the Netflix movie that came out. Are you guys familiar with that?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I have not seen it.
That's so sad. We watched that last year, and the kids were just like, it ends on a high note, but that's just such a heavy movie. I feel like maybe when my kids are like 10, 12, 13.
See, I honestly don't remember. Like, I'm not saying this like this is an animated movie for my kids. Like, Melissa and I love this movie.
Okay, fair enough.
One,
okay, good call.
The art direction is incredible.
It's a great movie,
and I think it is just like a fun retelling of this, old toy maker in the woods who then wants to bless these kids. So it's just like a neat retelling of it. And I think the animation is just incredible. Now, our kids have always loved it, so I'd be interested to see how maybe different kids would perceive things. But I think for them, it's largely, I don't think they're really following the story very well. It's like, this funny slapstick comedy.
Look,
fell
pretty
down,
pictures, and
yeah. It's like, that's fun, and so, but yeah, that has become our absolute favorite. And then I think it's toss up for me between Charlie Brown and maybe I'd say the new Grinch is spectacular. So probably that, but then there's just like the nostalgia for the Rudolphs and the Frosties and like those super old.
Yeah, all of those old, like whatever they were, 70s claymation. I was like trying to find a spot to put those in our list, and I just couldn't. But they're like kind of runners up in 4 different categories.
And the old Rudolph, I didn't think my kids would actually like that. Like, kids grow up with such a spoiled like taste of animation and just quality in terms of they grew up in a Pixar world, right? We grew up in a G.I. Joe world. But the kids actually love it. It just goes to show that like good storytelling trumps good animation.
I think my least favorite of all of those ones is actually Rudolph, though, or maybe not my least favorite. The one I just chuckle at the most, because they're like legitimately horrible to that poor reindeer.
Totally,
like
scarred.
Yeah.
So those came out actually in the 60s.
It was 60s. Okay.
Yeah, Rudolph was 64, Charlie Brown was 65, and Frosty was 69. So they had a good decade there of
Frosty. I think of all the, like, Frosty is.
Yeah, Frosty.
Like our kids do watch both the Frosty and Frosty Returns every year for sure.
But they're not nearly as terrible to Rudolph as the McAllisters are to one another. So
that's true. That's true.
All right, best comedy.
So I had a hard, I wasn't sure. Again, the way I kind of went at this was like, I had a certain list of movies that are like my top, and I was just trying to find categories to fit them all into. So I don't know if this is the most perfect fit, but I have Home Alone as my top comedy. So if you categorize that as a comedy, I don't know, but I laugh at it.
Would you say original or Home Alone 2? Which would you put?
I'm a Home Alone 1. That's definitely my favorite of the 2. I don't even consider those other whatever they are.
No, only 1 and 2 are like legit movies, but number 2's
they like canon.
Number 2's great, but I love number 1.
But number 1, you're right, that's a good one. So I'm gonna go with because again, now these were kind of 1, 2 anyway, so I didn't know which one I was gonna go with, but because definitely Home Alone, like my son loves those, and
I sent you guys video. So we let Thatcher, who's 6 this year, he watched Home Alone for the first time. He hated the first half of the movie. Again, like you just said, because they're like so mean to him, and he just takes it really personally and just like makes him feel bad or whatever. And then the second half, when they start breaking into the house and he's doing all the booby traps, just literal uncontrollable laughter and like
Just pure joy.
literal audible like woohoos and like just it was the greatest thing. Yeah.
So good. So I'm gonna put in that slot then the Santa Claus. So Tim Allen, we
Nice.
laughed a
Very
ton
good
during
pick.
that one.
Yeah.
Great movie. Was really like one of the runners up for best family movie, Christmas movie too. Like just a great one. We always that's always one of the first ones we watch as a family during the Christmas season.
Yep. I had such a hard. Okay, I had a hard time with this because unsanctified Jordan would say like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but it's like I can't actually say that anymore.
Cannot recommend. Yeah.
So it's just like, but there's just something about that movie with Clark. It's just it's so much. Anyways, so I actually had Home Alone as well, and I was just watching this the other day, and the slapstick comedy of the Wet Bandits. It's just I was
unbeatable.
It was up late, and because I was just catching up on some work, and I had it on the background, and I was howling. It's like I have seen this movie like 40 times.
Yeah.
And I'm still just like in hysterics watching
the scream that he makes when that tarantula like goes on his face.
Oh,
it's like the greatest sound. I cannot believe.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
The only thing that I would say is comparable is in Home Alone 2 when he's being electrocuted.
Yeah, that's pretty
true.
good too.
That I lose it every single time. So, but in the interest of so I would say Home Alone. My other real pick would have been Elf, but just because it's like the number, but it's more like awkward humor where it's like I just find like Home Alone, like slapstick comedy is just better comedy, and so I just find that overall I'm like laughing harder more frequently. So I would say Home Alone is my
so
vote
I didn't
as well.
know how long this episode would be, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time, but I was gonna throw this out there because I thought this was quite funny. I was talking to a friend of ours, and he was saying that there's this like really really popular thread on Reddit about like the Christmas movie every adult who grew up in the 80s and 90s wants to see. And the idea of the movie is Kevin McAllister has grown up. He's now a husband and a dad, and he's growing up in the world of the Purge movies. And he sends his family away and lures the Wet Bandits to his house during the Purge and like does all the things except kills the Wet Bandits during the Purge, which I thought was just a brilliant movie idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be funny.
In all seriousness though, like I'm kind of shocked nobody, like no studio has pitched him to come back in a Home Alone movie as an adult, like, and make some sort of story of adult Kevin McAllister.
Yeah,
totally.
Because the subsequent Home Alones were just never the same.
No.
The last one that came out a couple years ago, it was with, I forget her name. She was Erin in The Office. She was in one, and it was actually it was fine. Like it was entertaining, but like real Home Alone canon is Kevin McAllister, and are the guys are Marv and Harry, are they still alive? Those actors, like, could they even come back?
I have no idea.
I think Joe Pesci's still alive. I haven't seen Marv in
I haven't heard of him dying, but I haven't really been paying attention.
Okay. Anyways, that could be let's hope. That'd be a Christmas miracle.
Do you remember a few years ago when it made the rounds on Facebook, and all the like 70-year-old boomers fell for it, of like it was this picture of the two of them, and it was like, watch out, these guys are well-known criminals, and like share this photo and don't let them in.
That's hilarious.
And like thousands and thousands of boomers shared this all over Facebook. I had a good chuckle.
Amazing
at that one.
That's great. All right, best guilty pleasure.
All right, I have, and this one is like, this was a no-brainer for me because I took this question as like a movie that is generally considered to be a bad movie, but I watch it and enjoy it. So for me, I even looked it up on like the Rotten Tomatoes worst. I like went through the list of the worst Christmas movies on Rotten Tomatoes, and this one was number 2 with a 5% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh boy.
And I like legitimately love this movie, and it's Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen.
Okay.
Like I just really,
We
really
literally
enjoy that
just
movie.
watched that last night. Like
No.
legitimately, Colleen had never seen it, and we just watched it last night, and it's pretty terrible. But
I mean, in terms of just like a movie, it's so.
Yeah.
But I really like Tim Allen,
Yeah.
and it's got Dan Aykroyd in it, and it has like a bunch of like deep cut Ghostbusters references, and it's just Tim Allen being Tim Allen, and I don't know, like I really and Emma loves it too, so it's one of the ones that we
That's
typically
hilarious.
watch together. Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure is Christmas with the Cranks.
Nice.
Easy answer.
So I took this a little differently. I didn't take it to be just a terrible movie. It's just like I put Die Hard here because I wanted to get Die Hard on my list. And one of the reasons I throw it here is just because I'm obviously not watching this with the kids. And Colleen doesn't like the movie either. So it's like, this is the Christmas movie I watch by myself. And I make sure I watch
at
it every
10
Christmas.
o'clock after everyone goes to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's exactly what happened. Colleen fell asleep early a couple nights ago. So I started it at like 9:30 or 9:45 or something and watched Die Hard and got the movie in. And, you know, now it feels like Christmas for me. So Die Hard it is.
So for me, I looked at it as just the movie that I doubt would make many people's top 20 Christmas or top 10 Christmas movies, and but it's one that I love and I will watch. It's one of the few that I will watch every single year, and I'm not totally sure why. It's Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
It's
So
Turbo
Arnold
Time.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah, it's Turbo Time. Put that cookie down. Like, it's just fantastic.
Yeah,
It has, like,
that could have made the
hilarious-
list for most quotable for sure.
Yeah, well, and it has like that hilarious like mob ring of Santas, and
Yeah.
you have like the Big Show punching the elf, and it's just like it's so
I
ridiculous.
forgot Big Show.
It is a ridiculous movie. Sinbad's in it, right? And he's
he
actually
is.
quite
Yeah.
funny when he does his
it's
little
so silly.
in the line in line waiting for the thing when he first talks about just like inflation and like the subliminal advertising for kids, and he wants this thing. Like, it's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
so
a good
that's
choice. Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. So that's my guilty pleasure. I just watched it. Just watched that the other night and loved it.
That's funny.
All right, best non-Christmas Christmas movie. Now we didn't really discuss what we mean by this, so I'm
Well,
curious. How
again,
you guys
so I'll
took
tell
that.
you. I'll tell you how I took the category. Well, I mean, I just took it literally, like a Christmas movie that is not not even like nobody regards it as a Christmas movie, but I watch it at Christmas. That's
Yeah.
how I took it as.
Okay.
So for me, it's Star Wars. 100%. Every Christmas we watch Star Wars. Like when I was growing up, it was always on TV on Christmas Day. It was like a Star Wars marathon on whatever channel. And so now we just keep that tradition alive. Star Wars every Christmas Day.
Okay.
Usually Empire Strikes Back because there's snow.
Yeah.
And actually, that's not true.
Starts in the Christmas land of Hoth.
Yeah. So, no, I'd say it's probably like split between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back that we watch on Christmas Day.
If I had taken it your way, I probably would have actually put Lord of the Rings there because we generally watch the Lord of the Rings over the Christmas break at some point.
See, probably like a decade ago, that would have been my answer because we had that 3-year stretch where those movies came out.
Yeah.
At
Christmas
in the theaters at Christmas time, and so we did that, and then it kind of became like a tradition to watch Lord of the Rings Christmas. We just haven't done that in a while, so Star Wars, that tradition has not passed.
So I put The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I still think that's the only good Narnia movie that they made. And obviously Father Christmas during that time. So we include that in our sort of repertoire of Christmas movies that we try to watch with the kids over the months of November and December.
That's a good pick. Not like generally regarded as a Christmas movie. Yeah.
But it's got the great
I'll
scene.
allow it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I took it as Ben did. And for me, it would be Lord of the Rings. Because when we were younger, it was like the extended cut DVDs were coming out, and it's like we would watch the entire extended cut,
12
of the movie
hours straight,
and all of the behind the scenes.
Oh, nice!
Like the whole, like we're committing, and so that was a big thing in terms of like a movie that people wouldn't think of as Christmas, but for some reason, okay, I'm not. Yeah, that's not Christmas really at all. But when for some reason when I think of it, I often go to the scene in it, and it's just it is the first Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone, or
Oh yeah.
right because like it does have the kids staying back. A lot happens in that
Well,
Christmas
isn't it
season.
which one of those first three has the big like Christmas day at Hogwarts too,
Yeah, that's the
isn't it?
first one. Yeah,
Is
like
it the first one?
yeah, like Harry gets his like really his first Christmas presents from the Weasleys, and
Right.
he gets
Yeah,
his
yeah, that's
sweater, and
right. Yeah.
he goes and
He
finds the
gets doesn't he
mirror
get
of
a
the.
broom too? Doesn't he get his first broom as
Yes,
a
he
Christmas
does. Well,
present?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he does.
Or a new broom or something.
That is later on when Sirius gets him the
That's the
firebolt.
one that's the one I'm
Yeah,
thinking of in my
that's the
mind. But yeah,
firebolt.
you're
But
right.
yeah,
It is
because he
in the
gets the
first one
broom
also.
earlier. McGonagall gets him the broom when he
Yeah.
starts on the team. But yeah, and he finds like the mirror of Erised where he like has like sees his parents, and it's just like all this stuff happens on Christmas break. And so anyways, that to me is like that non-Christmas. It's not Christmas at all, but there's like significance of the Christmas season in the story and everything.
Yeah.
So that would be mine in there. All right, moving on. Best family Christmas movie. So I guess what would be the movie that you, maybe we've already said it, but like the movie that you would watch with your kids as a family. This could change depending on age, right? Oh, as kids get older and stuff. But right now, what would you say is the best family Christmas movie?
Um I just realized that I didn't actually fill that one out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna double up because I have this down as my best musical also, but this is by far like our family's favorite Christmas movie, and it's A Muppet Christmas
Yep.
Carol.
Yeah. I'll just
It's
say it right
like,
now. That's what mine is as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best. It is just such a good movie, and like not even in an ironic sense. Like it is just actually a good movie,
Yeah, I
and like
totally agree.
the like I've seen the memes go around of like Michael Caine, where like the movie producers come to him with their pitch. They're like, "Okay, Michael, like we'd like you to star in this movie with a bunch of puppets. It's, you know, you will be Scrooge. Like it doesn't need to be your like greatest performance ever." And he's just like,
No, it will be.
I will win an Oscar." Like
Yeah,
this,
this movie will
like,
define me.
yeah, like, and he like plays such a good
Alfred
Scrooge,
who
acting with a bunch of freaking puppets.
Yeah.
Like it's such a good movie, and
Well, and just like the music when it's like
the music is
Marley and
awesome. It's actually really
Marley.
faithful. Like it like
Yeah.
uses a lot of like full on Dickens quotes, and it's just really really good. Yeah.
Yep. Nate,
Yeah.
do you have another one?
I do. Because I use that for my musical, and I'm not cheating like Ben. I'm gonna go with mine is Miracle on 34th Street. So the one
Which
that we
one?
watched. So we actually watched the newer one, the 1990.
So do we. That's probably
one.
that's
Our
a
kids
really
like
good
more.
one.
Colleen and I
We
will
actually
sometimes
watch
watch.
that.
Go ahead.
We watch it every year on American Thanksgiving because
Oh,
it
nice.
starts with the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day parade. So
yeah.
that's our tradition for that one.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great one. It's a good movie. It's a feel good movie. It's totally appropriate for kids. It's yeah,
One of
it's
the
just
best Santas, maybe
yeah.
the best Santa.
literally. I think you're right. One of the best Santas, and even just the way they do it at the end, because they change a little bit in terms of the how Santa wins in the end.
Yeah.
From the original, and I
They do
actually
the In
kind of
God
like
We
the remake
Trust.
better. Yeah, In God We
Yeah.
Trust. That's right. It was so good. It was such a great argument and just a good movie.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Yeah. Instead of the U.S. postal system, like kind of a lame argument, but yeah,
Totally.
In God We Trust. That's really good.
All right, this one, the next one, I'm curious if it's going to be all of us agreeing, but the most quotable Christmas movie.
I put Elf for that one.
All right, I
So
didn't
did I.
even put a
That's,
runner up. I agree. Elf is the
Yeah,
one.
I mean, like the only one that might be close to it for me is the one that I'm gonna give for my goat. So I'll just
Okay.
leave
Well,
it there.
and even just if anybody has any doubts, like I just have a list of some of these quotes here, and they're just right, some of them are actually like endearing, and some of them are hilarious. Like the best
Yeah.
way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Yeah.
And then I passed through 7 levels of the candy cane forest, through the sea of swirly twirly gumdrops, and then I walked through the Lincoln Tunnel.
Like cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Yeah, cotton-heading. Like smiling is my favorite.
Like Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Like how many of us have answered the phone saying Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Like,
or,
come on.
like appropriate curse words for Christians. Son of a nutcracker.
Yeah.
My Judah was saying that all the time after we watched Elf, because we watched Elf a couple weeks ago, and so he's been going around going, "Son of a nutcracker," and I go to like chastise him, and I just start laughing. But the other one my kids always quote, this is why this one came to my mind right away, is it was just like, "Call me an elf one more time."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So yeah, there's no second. There's nothing even that comes remotely close to that. All right. Worst Christmas movie.
This one I had a hard time with because I just have no patience for bad Christmas movies. And so like I don't ever watch a bad one multiple times. So for me, it's like any movie that, because like obviously there's like Hallmarky, just like they're just bad quality and like just crappy. But for me, it's like any movie that is nasty about Christmas, that like actually is like a mean spirited Christmas movie, I hate so bad. So I don't even have like any one in particular in mind, but there's just like Christmas movies I have just shut off because I'm just like, this is literally the opposite of a Christmas movie, and I just have no patience for it.
There's one that just came out on, I think it was on Prime, Bad Santa. It's like with Jack Black, and it's like he plays something.
Yeah, that's called something else. But
Bad Santa
was going to be my
Billy Bob
one.
Thornton.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it?
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton is the Bad Santa one, and that is like that would be my
Dear Santa. And he plays like Satan in this Christmas movie. Right.
Yeah,
it's like, just throw it out.
Get out of
here. I want no part of that.
Well, and the reason I put Bad Santa there is I don't even think I ever saw it. Like I'm sure it came out during a time when I was in rebellion and stuff, but I don't think I ever saw it. It's just like I have no patience for somebody trying to like smear Christmas. I was gonna actually put just Hallmark Christmas movies here because they are bad, but like the truth is I get so much joy in the Christmas season out of sitting and making fun of Hallmark movies while my wife is watching them. That's actually that's a great tradition.
This is the magic of Christmas, is that I will sit and watch a Hallmark Christmas movie with my wife and not complain the whole time just because it's Christmas.
I will. I'll complain. I'll make fun of, but like I'm actually enjoying it. Like I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't put something better on. I like watching it and complaining about it because that's part of our Christmas tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a toss up because I really dislike Nightmare Before Christmas. I just never liked the aesthetic. I would kind of agree there, actually. I'm not a huge stop motion fan. I'm not. I appreciate it because the amount of work that goes into it is, I don't think people realize when you're doing 30 movements of a character per second and you're having to manually go and move them and like somehow keep that in time with the audio and the music is actually a feat of, it's just incredible.
It's incredible.
Like they actually can do that. I just never liked the aesthetic. And maybe it was growing up. Maybe I was scared of it when it came out. I don't know. But it's never grown on me. Our kids love it. And I've tried to watch it and I just can't get into it. I
don't like it either. I hate Tim Burton. I dislike almost everything he's ever made. My major hot take here that I almost put down was on your list, Nate. I don't remember where. But I am a really not a big fan of A Christmas Story. I do not like that movie.
Really?
So that was that was going to be my big hot take of the list. I knew you guys would disagree, but yeah.
The other one I had is like a close runner up, and this was just because I think it's funny. Is the Star Wars Christmas special?
Oh wow!
Yeah, seriously, terrible.
Yeah, but the movie that George Lucas wishes if George Lucas could make the internet not exist so that disappeared, I think he would do it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. We've got a couple left here. Oh, no, two left. Best musical.
Yeah, I already said Muppet Christmas Carol. It's not even a contest for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I used it for that one. I'm not going to go to number 2 because I wanted to get this on the list for sure. And It's the only time I used it, unlike Ben. So Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
The music is just so good. Like it's like you said, it's such a good movie and they do such a good job with it. And then the music is also fantastic. So
Yeah. Like I'm not even generally speaking a big Muppet fan.
Yeah.
And like I just adore that movie.
Me too.
For me, it was White Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's
just
a
the
very,
music,
very good.
excellent.
I actually never ever watched that until I got married, and it's
Yeah.
one that Emma grew up watching, and so we watch it every year now, and it's
Yeah.
just a good
It is
classic movie
right.
with
Yeah,
good music. Yeah.
the story's good, the characters are funny, and the music's excellent. So that's the one I grew up watching every year. So, I mean,
Given-
Muppets.
Given
Was
where
that-
we got to on the list, I can almost guarantee you we all have the same answer for the next one. So I'm just curious to see how this goes down.
I don't think so. I think mine is different, but
Okay.
is your goat one that you've already said or no?
Nope.
Okay, because I left my goat off my list also, which means I know it's not the same because it's been said.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final. Our favorite Christmas movie, our goat. Benjamin.
All right, my goat is the Santa Claus. That is my favorite Christmas
there you
movie.
go.
Almost put it as most quotable over Elf. Like I've never in my life driven by a Denny's and not said it's an American institution. Like
At least we know they
I'm
have
gonna
hot
get
apple
like
pie.
when I get
We
home,
did.
I'm getting a CAT scan. Like I just I really love that movie. I've always been a big Tim Allen fan.
Do you like the
and
sequels? Like, do you like number 2 and 3?
I like 2. I like number 2 enough. I think. Which one is 2? Yeah, like where he turns in, he makes like
Owns himself.
the clone toy
Yeah.
or whatever, which it's fine. But it's nowhere near number 1. Number 3, I dislike.
Did you
like,
watch the
actively
Santa Clauses,
dislike.
the TV show?
We watched like one episode and it just did nothing for me. I didn't
No.
finish it. Yeah.
All right, Nathaniel.
So I mean, I would even put this into a broad category of like a Christmas Carol is number 1 because I like every version. I love every single version of it. I like Patrick Stewart. I like the Muppets. I like Mickey. I like the new animated one.
Mickey was close for my best animated.
Yeah,
That's a really good version. Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. But I would put like the original Alistair Sims, 1951. That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It's fantastic. But every version of A Christmas Carol I love.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could deviate from one of you guys, but like Christmas Carol for me, it's like a perfect movie. The fact that it has lasted as long as it is. It was what in the 50s? Is that when it came out? 50s. The fact that it's still as good as it is, the fact that it's still as likable, and again, it has a soft spot in my heart just for like thinking about growing up with my dad who's not around anymore. And yeah, I think it's just fantastic. But if I like the movie that comes to my mind immediately when I think of a Christmas movie is the Santa Claus. Yeah. Just because it's like in all of our Western commercialization of Christmas in our Santa, the elves, the reindeer, the North Pole, it was amazing to like jump into that world and to just even for a minute see what the North Pole was like and all of that in like that way, and it just seemed like really believable. And I mean, as far as much as like being a kid is and everything, but yeah, Christmas Carol, I wanted to have something that I didn't mention already, but it's like that to me is just peak
So
Christmas
I would say
perfection.
overall, Nate, I think you're right. Like just taking all of our lists combined, like just the Christmas Carol, whatever version is like the GOAT Christmas story.
Right.
Right. I mean, like other than, the gospel
Jesus.
according to Luke. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our favorite Christmas movies. And maybe next year, maybe it'll change a little bit. I don't know. I don't see many of mine changing, but we can always revisit. But before we even just wrap up this episode, I thought it might be fun just take just a couple minutes to see how good you guys are with movie quotes and to see if you'd be able to pick out which movie these famous lines are from. I don't think they're super difficult, but we'll see.
I hope it's Elf.
All right. So every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It is
Of
It's a Wonderful Life.
course.
Yep. You sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah. You smell like beef and cheese.
You don't smell like Salem. Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
Like every Christmas movie ever? I don't know.
It was, here's a hint. You guys did, it was one of your movies. I can't remember which one of you mentioned it, but.
Is that?
Oh, that's Miracle on 34th Street.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the boyfriend.
I thought it was going to be
yeah.
the Santa Claus, because remember when Judy the elf is like, believing isn't seeing, seeing is believing?
Yeah, similar. Like I said, that's kind of like a Christmas line everywhere. But yeah, no, I do remember that from Miracle on 34th.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
What's the name of that movie? Anyway, I'm trying to remember. I did look it up. They did give that movie a name. The movie within the movie of Home Alone, but yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Home Alone.
Oh,
that was
it's
actually
two.
number 2. Yeah, that's number 2 when he's in the hallway, right?
Yep. I triple dog dare ya.
A Christmas Story.
Yep.
That's the poll, right?
That's the poll, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the narration, it turned into a triple dog dare.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, good.
All right, what do we got here? Let me see. Seeing is believing, but sometimes the most real things in the world are the things we can't see. We did not mention this movie. None of us mentioned this movie.
Oh,
Ooh.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Let me know when you want a hint, and I'll give you a hint.
I definitely need one. I don't even have anything.
Okay, it's an animated movie.
Say it again.
Seeing is believing, but sometimes the most real things in the world are the things we can't see.
Arthur Christmas?
No, it is The Polar Express.
Oh,
Polar Express.
You know what?
Another one of my hot takes is I do not like that movie.
I'm glad.
I don't remember it really that well.
Dislike it, but it's not as great as everybody else says it is.
Everyone seems to love that movie, and it just does nothing for me. I don't like the animation at all.
Maybe it's because I don't want to watch Tom Hanks around a bunch of kids, even if it is animated.
Just saying. Knowing what you now know, that's probably wise. Yeah. All right. Okay, a couple more here. It's not what's under the Christmas tree that matters. It's who's around it.
Do not
National
know.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It is Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good
Charlie Brown
call.
Christmas. All right. And last but not least, Welcome to the Party, Pal.
I don't know.
Oh, hold on. We just
I feel like I should know this, but I don't know.
Welcome to the Party, Pal.
Welcome to the Party, Pal. I feel like I just saw this. Where
Can
am I
you say
seeing
it in character?
Yeah, it's like, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I don't know.
I wish I would have gotten you to do that for all of them.
Die Hard.
Oh, duh. Oh, right.
I should have ended with this would have been far easier. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Seriously. Or yippee-ki-yay and then just end the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fill in the blank as you will. But all right.
Yippee-ki-yay, you son of a nutcracker.
Yeah, that's right. All right, boys. Is there any parting Christmas words you would like to leave our listeners with? Or are we good to wrap it up?
We're good.
Christmas pun intended.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us again. We do hope you guys have a very merry and nerdy Christmas. Please enjoy time with family, and we look forward to having you join us in the new year. And again, if you want to watch our stuff, go to YouTube, listen on podcast services, or join us over at Patreon. But until next time, stay nerdy.